Welcome to it, sports fans. The MKT Show. I'm MKT, Cliff Central Sport, and this is the MKT Show. Welcome to it. What is it today? The 11th, 11, 11, 20. Very nice. Very nice. We've survived one more month, and one day. My God, one day you will tell people that wearing a mask into a bank was what we did, and it was the law. It was this year, the 20th year after the 2000th one. Holy cannoli. Welcome to it. MKT Sport. Let's get into it. What are we talking about today? Listen, Luke Shaw, United, that's been a problem from the beginning. I'll give you my thoughts on that. And listen, we all grow up in environments and we all have to do things and we all say things and we got to put up with consequences. The older you get, the more you got to put up with consequences, right? Dele Alli, Jack Grealish, becoming the same person. Tell you why. My thoughts are that. And then I'll tell you why Cristiano Ronaldo coming back to Man United, awful idea. I'll tell you why. Give you my thoughts on that. Those are three segments. Remember, if you're just joining us, push that one. That's a like. If you don't like it, just pretend this didn't happen. Good evening to all of you. Hope you're well. Hope you had a smashing day. Because I certainly did. I certainly did. Let's get into it. So, listen, in elite sport, there are no victims. In elite sport, there are no victims. I'm not one to argue in society for meritocracies. That puts you in a very, very messy conversation. Society in general is quite convoluted. But generally in elite environments, but we're talking about sport now, and I think sport is the best industry in the world for separating the wheat from the chaff, right? It's the best industry in the world where nepotism largely at the absolute elite level. Now, I'm not going to speak to sport I consider amateur, hockey, gymnastics. There's still room for nepotism there. But when we talk about the big ones, NFL largely, NBA, football, I think those are the big three globally where it's very, very difficult for nepotism at the real top end. At the top end, in the Premier League, in the NFL, in the NBA. I don't care how much your dad coaches. I don't care how much someone loves you and you got to perform. 99% of sport at the top level. I don't consider rugby a professional sport, by the way. So rugby, you can get in. Coach likes you, whatever. Because rugby is still largely an amateur sport. But let's talk just about football. 99% of it is meritocracy. And really in life, there are very few meritocracies. Because in most life is what happens. If you work at a bank, if you work in a normal job in marketing, is if you're good looking, if you nail the interview, generally you got yourself a 3-4 year contract. And you could be mediocre at your job, but just be charming. Maybe your dad owns the company. Maybe your uncle knows the guy that owns the bank or is the CEO of the bank. They went to university together. That can happen in regular life. That gets you 3-4 years. At the top, though, I'm afraid, Look, it's hard to feel sorry for people that put themselves in position to fail. It really is. I'm sorry. I'm not very empathetic to begin with. But if you think I'm not empathetic, professional sports will cut you. What they'll do is they'll tolerate you until they can replace you. That is the old saying that I remember from football. And it happened to me. So I know. I know what it's like to be big time Charlie and think you've got it all. And they'll cut you. They will cut you. But you never believe it, especially people like myself, big ego, at the time, a little bit of ability, a big ability actually when I was younger, and no more. That was just when I was very young for a very short time. And then reality strikes. You never see it because your ego is in the way. Listen, Luke Shaw came to Manchester United injured. That's unacceptable. That is unacceptable. You can do it at Southampton. You can do it, quite frankly, I hate to say it, you can do it at Arsenal, you can do it at these other clubs where Europa League's the goal, mid-table's the goal. You can do it there. No, nobody cares if you're very good, because Luke Shaw's very good. There is no doubting that. But if you want to have the Southampton mentality, great. You want to go play at Arsenal and tell me a top 4, top 6 is a trophy, great. You want to go play at Leicester, top 6 is good. You can go play at Burnley, and to survive is a miracle. It's fine for you to be overweight and say, I'm talented. At Manchester United, it's non-negotiable to be in the best shape of any athlete on the planet, right? The two best sets of athletes in the world are what? Basketball players and footballers. There is no excuse to arrive at Manchester United. I don't care if you're injured, right? There is plenty of solutions now where you can work where there's no impact on your knees, no impact on your shins. No, Luke Shaw arriving at Manchester United overweight as a 19-year-old is unacceptable. I was out then. I remember sitting with a friend of mine, a huge Man United fan, one of my best friends. And I said to you, I'm out. I said to him, I'm out. And listen, he loves Shaw. I said, I'm out on this guy. Because I don't care about ability. Manchester United will churn out ability. They can go and buy anybody they want at left back. They're Manchester United. It is not acceptable. And quite frankly, since Fergie left, we've seen the erosion. Because it's acceptable for people to be bigger than the club. One job, dude. There is one job for you as a flying left back to be in. There should be nobody in the league in better shape than Luke Shaw. And doesn't he always look overweight? Why is that acceptable? Why is that acceptable? Because you know what? I'm old. I saw Frank Lampard be overweight at West Ham. And then I saw Frank Lampard 5 years later when he went to Chelsea, and he was the best athlete maybe in European football. Never missed a game. I saw Steven Gerrard carrying extra weight as a youngster. Then I watched him for 10 years carry Liverpool on his shoulders. I saw that happen. If you want to be at that level, the fitness is non-negotiable. It's non-negotiable. Listen, I told you earlier, they will tolerate you until they can replace you. Please don't think Man United signing Telles is as cover. I've said this before on the show. People are fired. Conversations to fire you happen long before you're actually fired. Long before. 2-3 years, especially at that level. Please don't think Manchester United are just operating willy-nilly. I know people are unhappy, but the Glazers are billionaires for a reason. Right? Ed Woodward has worked at the very, very sharp end of accounting, and he's a chartered accountant. He's worked at the very highest level for the best banks, the highest hedge funds in the world. There is nothing that happens without a plan. Telles tells you what? We're out on Luke Shaw. We've seen enough. Now, people don't want to believe that because they haven't positioned it that way. They'll tell you, oh, we're bringing in competition. They're not shocked that Luke Shaw's injured again. It's another 1 month injury. And I'm sorry, to stop telling me it's genetic. Stop telling me it's he's got the big body. He doesn't. He's overweight and it's unacceptable. If you're asthmatic in life, it is your duty to ensure that you're in better shape than somebody who's born with a better respiratory system than you. I don't accept victimhood. You play the cards that you're dealt. Luke Shaw has that body, that British bulldog body, where he looks at food. He looks like he's going to put on weight. What that means is he's got to do double, triple the fitness work of everybody else. I cannot feel sorry for a guy. And listen, for me, it's easy to say, and I can be sanctimonious on this part. I'm in great shape. By the way, it's one thing I take unbelievably seriously in my life. I take it unbelievably seriously. I'm in unbelievable shape, 9.5% body fat. So I can comment on when I see somebody being overweight, I can tell you that is not an athlete. That's not an athlete. Luke Shaw has never in his United tenure looked like an athlete. I'm sorry, I feel nothing for the guy because it's on him. Listen, Russell Wilson spends over $3 million, quarterback for the Seattle Seahawks, spends over $3 million on looking after his body. $3 million on looking after his body. Russell Wilson never misses a game. LeBron James spends over $10 million, it's reported, private chefs, trainers, takes his trainer with him on the road. LeBron James had his trainer with him in the bubble. LeBron James didn't even allow his family to come and join him in the bubble. That tells me what LeBron's priorities are. LeBron James is 35 now. LeBron James looks like the best conditioned athlete on the planet at 35. What is Luke Shaw's excuse? I don't know the guy's private life, but please, I'm out now. As a United fan, please just face the music. It's got to be over with this guy. I will not accept victims at the top level. At that level, at Manchester United, there is no bigger brand. Listen, people can hate Manchester United all you want. There is no bigger brand. And trust me, those big brands, Man United will not spare. You go to Carrington, they will not spare an expense on their own. They have everything from psychologists, psychiatrists. If Shaw's having problems, there is no barrier. There is no reason why he is ever carrying 1% of fat too much. In fact, 0.01% of too much fat. It's unbelievable to me. This came out this morning. He's out for a month again. Hamstring again. And listen, I'm a runner. I run 100 kilometers per week, give or take. Let's say average 85 per week. I understand soft tissue. And yes, I've got probably more of a mesomorphic build, right? Ectomorphic build. He's more of an endomorphic guy. He's got that block build. Yes, the genetics come into it. But you got to play the cards you're dealt. The world is as it is. It is not how you want it to be. Luke Shaw is playing the victim. I'm sorry, overweight in the Premier League? Are you kidding me? It's unacceptable. It's unacceptable. And I don't get this guy. I don't get this guy. And it's hard for me to feel sorry for him because he was overweight when he arrived at Manchester United. It's a very different story if Luke Shaw looked like Alexis Sanchez, Cristiano Ronaldo, and he was always injured. But he looks like he looks. I mean, look at the guy's stomach and body. What are we doing? What are we doing here? Not acceptable. If me, as your layman, can stay in shape, if I'm 9.5% body fat, what is Luke Shaw doing at 11 o'clock on a Tuesday morning after practice? Remember, professional footballers, people seem to think professional footballers are training for 7 hours. This is why a lot of them get, especially the younger players, get in a lot of trouble. The top clubs train 2 hours a day. The rest, that's up to you. Cristiano Ronaldo is not a mistake. Leo Messi being so consistent, playing over 50 games a season for 10 seasons in a row, that's not a mistake. Pavel Nedved is not a mistake. Great story. Zinedine Zidane asked, who's the greatest trainer you've ever seen? He says he never spent a day at Juventus when he came in where Pavel Nedved hadn't been on the cycle, on the stationary bike for 2 hours before everybody else got to training. That's the difference between good and great. That is the difference between good and great. So Luke Shaw's showing you what he is. Back to Southampton. It's over. Tellez is the guy now. And United have been kind of easing that way. They'll tell you, oh, it was the competition. No, they know. They see Luke Shaw. They probably see what he eats. You can't lie to the scale. You can't lie to the doctors. We got to sports science now. Listen, we don't even need to do a BMI test. Right? There's a couple of machines where we can put you in. We can tell you your body composition like that. In the past, you could lie to people. You could lie to tests. You could go and sweat it out in a sauna for weight clauses, etc. No more. They know what Luke Shaw is. And United are telling you we can't work with that. That's over. Luke Shaw, we're done. And I'm done. I was done since the beginning. And I'm sorry, I feel nothing for him. Another hamstring injury when your body looks like that's on you. And I've had injuries. I ran 100 milers over mountains. I've had injuries. I've run 250 kilometers in the mountains. This isn't about me. I'm just telling you, I understand what the hellhole of injuries is, of bad injuries. I've had an ACL. I had my right knee done when I was 19 years old. I've had injuries. I know largely what the problem is. And my ACL happened because I pitched up at training. Worse for wear. Let's just say that morning before it happened. Worse for wear. So I know what it takes. Nobody's going to tell me I should feel sorry for Luke Shaw. I know why people get injured. Largely, you're not doing the recovery, right? How do I know that? I didn't do the recovery. I didn't do what it took. So I know. I train like a beast. I do. So I know, especially soft tissue stuff. By the way, trail running, mountains, unforgiving. Unforgiving on the glutes, unforgiving, especially if your hamstrings are not in condition. You cannot run 100 milers. You cannot run 100 Ks. You cannot run 250K races. So I know I'm in the belly of the beast in terms of maintaining, in particular, that part of my body. So I understand exactly what's happening with tendon, hamstring. I know glutes, ITB. I know what's happening in that region. I have had nightmares over the last 5 years trying to maintain and strengthen that part of the body. That's an attitude thing. Hamstring's an attitude injury. Let me just tell you. People are going to tell you overuse rubbish. That's absolute rubbish. Cristiano Ronaldo has never once had a hamstring injury. There's a reason for that. There's a reason Cristiano Ronaldo and Leo Messi have never had a hamstring injury. Frank Lampard never had a hamstring injury. There's a reason for that. There's a real reason for that. Let me just tell you, very few are genetic problems. It's an attitude thing. And I'm sorry, I can't work with poor attitude. It's a character issue. Luke Shaw, I'm done. I'm done. So, hey, let's move on to this. And this might shock a lot of people. Shock horror. So when I was younger, I was really a loudmouth. And I know that comes as a massive shock to people. People, every time I tell them, they can't believe it. I was a loudmouth, right? So spoiled brat a little bit, a lot of a bit. Then I went to boarding school. And in boarding school, you meet different people that aren't from a city, where spoiled brats, mostly in cities, is filled with spoiled brats. They say what they want. Mommy and daddy pick them up in the SUV, which happened to me. And everything you do, you are the perfect angel. Nobody ever tells you no. Nobody ever, Oh, and then you know what happens is you meet farm boys. You meet people where what you say, you better be able to back up. Everything that comes out of your mouth, you better be able to back up, because there's a little different rules in boarding school. It turns out in the Natal Midlands, the rules are a little different. The boys and girls there, they don't do, let's talk it out. Sorry, what did you mean when you called me bleep bleep? No. They put a fist to your mouth. It's unbelievable to people when I tell them I was a loudmouth when I was younger. Because spoiled brats, you know what happens? Is you say what you want when you want, and mommy goes, it's okay. Yeah, my little angel's perfect. My little angel's perfect. Happened to me. I was a spoiled brat, and then I got to school and I got sucker punched in the mouth. I'm South African. Here we say I got clapped. What you say matters. When you're young, what you say, what you do, that matters. I'll tell you why. Because when you're old, then you have to put up with the consequences for it. And I was somebody who, when I was younger, my parents tried, but I was a little out of hand, loudmouth, know-it-all, smacked in the face. That's what the farm boys did down there in the Midlands to me. And I don't regret it. Because now, be careful with your words. When you say something, you better be ready for all of the consequences that follow that. When you say and do anything above the age of 18, folks, I'm sorry. And I've made my mistakes. Nobody's perfect. But you must take your lumps then. If you're going to do something, if you're going to say something above the age of 18, you better be ready for every consequence that you have brought onto yourself. Spoiled brats don't know how to deal with the world, because everybody's always told them, yes, you're good, you're the best. And this tends to happen with talented people. And when I was younger, I could hide in a bubble. Yeah, I could throw a ball far, could play a little bit of cricket. I could certainly kick a ball. That helps. People tend to love you, and then you start to believe in the hype. And then especially when you're young, when you're talented, you tend to treat people a certain way, and you forget that, people remember that. People remember moments. There's a reason I don't like now as I get older. I've told people before, if you're under the age of 28, you make me nervous. I don't like cool kids as leaders. I don't want cool kids. My leaders mustn't be cool kids. You know why? I don't like people that ebb and flow. If we lose, it's not a disaster. If we win, it's not the World Cup final. That's where I want my leaders. And it matters. Leadership matters, especially the bigger the egos. And there's no bigger egos than unbelievably talented sportsmen. And you're not going to find more talented sportsmen than the English Premier League. It's less than 1% of the world that'll ever play at that level, that'll ever make it beyond the graduation process to play in the first team at that level. So you're special just for being in the Premier League. Leadership. Egos need leadership. Ability needs leadership and guidance. So what am I talking about? Listen, Jack Grealish and Dele Alli are the same guy. And you know what? Life is so unfair, because what it does is that everything you do and say will eventually come back to define how people will treat you. And when I say it's unfair, I mean, no one's perfect. But unfortunately, that's the way it is. And to whom much is given, much is expected. The more money you earn, the less room I give you for the disparity between your words and your actions. So when you're Jack Grealish, when you're Dele Alli, and you're Dele Alli and you go and say things about Asian people, and when you're Jack Grealish and you've got the hair and you've got the low-cut socks and you've got the cool guy image, you know what you do is you make your tolerance from people, you shrink it. Mr. Cool Guy, Dele Alli with the fashion, cool. I'm all about it. What you've got to do is say, all right, that's going to come with consequences. You know, young kids go, oh, what a douchebag. And you don't have to believe it, by the way. And I know what happens with young people because I had it. All your friends, this is why I don't like cool people as leaders. All your friends will tell you, they don't know what they're talking about. They don't know what they're talking about. The problem now is that Jack Grealish, Mr. Cool, Mr. Drinking, Mr. Party, you go and look at Jack Grealish's social media. Lack of self-awareness. I don't like it. There's a photo from this preseason where it's him, McGinn, and a few people drinking on a yacht. And it looks like laddish boys. He looks like a boy, still having fun. Here's the problem. Jose Mourinho and Gareth Southgate are the same guy. Gareth Southgate has been the same guy since I remember him as a captain at Aston Villa, at Middlesbrough. Wherever Gareth Southgate has gone, where's he been? Leadership. Nobody thinks Gareth Southgate's cool. Does anybody think John Terry's cool? You know why? Because leadership is not a popularity position. You know, all of us, nobody wants to, and there's something sick within us as people. Nobody wants to love their leader. Because somewhere deep down, the older you get as an adult, you understand that your leader one day must make decisions that are not popular. Angela Merkel in Germany, she's had to, you know why the Germans keep her in power? Because she's had to make uncomfortable political decisions. But somewhere deep down, everyone in Germany knows, we got to swallow that bitter pill. And we actually need that strength. You can't have Jack Grealish, cool guy. Dele Alli, cool guy. You can't have it, especially when you have Mourinho, because Mourinho is not in a popularity contest. He wants to win. Look at how his teams are built. Højbjerg, no one thinks Højbjerg is cool. Ndombele, you know why Ndombele struggled? Because he's all Instagram lifestyle guy, overweight guy. There's no places to hide with real leadership. Dele Alli's finding out the hard way. Jack Grealish now, you know what his problem is? He can't get into the English side. And everybody goes, oh, he's the best player in England. England don't have a player like him. We haven't had a talent like him since Gaza. You know what Gareth Southgate says? I would rather lose with character than win with talent. I would rather lose with character than win with talent. Because you know what? Character matters. You can take character anywhere. Listen, the Three Lions are a brand. There is a corporate side. They are unashamedly a brand. Jack Grealish, Mr. I want to do it my way. Low-cut socks, the hair. That's cool with some coaches. That's cool at Aston Villa where you're one of their own. What's England's problem been since the beginning? Rio Ferdinand even says it in his book, drinking culture. Why did England lose in the 90s? Drinking culture. All about them. All about them. All these stars. Raheem Sterling, these guys struggle. You know why? Me. Gareth Southgate's trying to change that. And Jack Grealish coming in, no, sir. Jose Mourinho, what does he do every place he goes? Jose Mourinho fell out with Cristiano Ronaldo. That lets you know, I don't care about cool. Ronaldo has a cool side about him, but he's got over 500 professional goals. But Mourinho didn't tolerate that. Sir Alex Ferguson, Jaap Stam, get the hell out. Listen, you think Fergie liked having Roy Keane talk to him like he did? No, not a chance. Not a chance. But listen, you know what? He'll tolerate Keane. But David Beckham acted up once. Out. Jaap Stam acted up once. Out. Ruud van Nistelrooy, one of probably the greatest fox in the box that English football has ever known. At the peak of his game, acted out, talked about a contract, talked about a bit of stuff off the field. Out. Roy Keane, his whole life was an absolute tyrant. Fergie said, oh, no, wait, I can deal with that. Because Keane wasn't in the business of being cool. David Beckham was in the business of being cool. And when that started to happen, what happened? Out. So Jack Grealish and Dele Alli, I don't want to hear it. When you choose to be Mr. Cool, understand that that comes with consequences. When you choose to be indifferent, me, at the top level, there is no place to hide. The problem comes when you don't realize that this is a business. And corporate businesses know Jack Grealish's talent will come and it'll go. It'll come, it'll go. We don't care. They don't care. They're showing you. And you know what's horrible for young people because they never really hear it? Life is so much easier, right? When you decide the change, right? When life forces you to change, it'll always be miserable. It'll always be miserable. But it's so hard to tell young people that. And I wish I'd listened to my mother early on. It'll always be miserable when life forces your hand. And that's what's happening to Grealish and Dele Alli now. And I'm afraid it's too late now. You know why? Aston Villa has enabled them. Twitter has enabled them. Get off Twitter. Jack Grealish being the lad is not good enough. It's not good enough because there's talent everywhere. What there's 1% of the world has character and leadership. 1% of the world, if not less. Why do you think everybody keeps saying, oh my gosh, companies keep employing the same CEOs? You know why? It's impossible to find people that aren't in love with being loved. Leadership is not a position to go and be cool and have people tell you, oh yeah, you're the lad, you're the guy. No, it's not the place. It's not the place. It's not a popularity contest. That's why politics is not a place for leaders. It's a popularity contest. We all understand this. But sport is a win-loss. It's got the shortest menu in the world. Win-loss menu, I'm afraid. And we're also a corporate brand. So I'll tell you what we're going to do. Jack Grealish, how much better do you make our team? Yeah. Ross Barkley, you've had your stuff off the field. No thanks. We'll go the other way. And for young people, I think, listen, there's older people out there. And I'm not one to preach to young people. I talk about sport. You don't have to listen to what I'm saying, but I've been through the mill. Listen, companies will only tolerate you until they can replace you. And somebody needs to tell young people, Grealish should have heard when he was younger, that you got talent. Get the character part right and get that right early. And now Villa have paid him, and there's too much on Twitter where he's the best thing since Gaza. No, he's not. No, he's not. Stop believing your hype. And Gareth Southgate says, no, thank you. Seen enough. Listen, it ain't going to work. It ain't going to work. I'm out on Dele Alli and certainly out on Jack Grealish. I can understand why England don't pick him. I don't care about talent. I've never, ever. One thing I've honestly never cared about, although I behaved like it, never cared about talent. I've seen lots of talent everywhere. You know, I keep telling you, so a few young people have approached me just to ask about, hey, what's it like working at Cliff Central? I work with the gentleman I do and the leadership I do. And more I say, and it's tough to say, I say, don't chase money. Chase leadership. There's lots of money out there. Because I think I'm talented. I believe I'm a talented person. So I'm not worried about my talent. So build up your skill. Yes, that's one thing. But chase leadership. Chase great leadership. It's impossible to find. Globally. It's not a South African problem. Globally, it's impossible to find great leadership. England are onto a good thing. I think Tottenham realize they're onto a good thing. Jack Grealish is not a captain. And Dele Alli, Mr. Too Cool. I'm sorry. Problem is, Jose Mourinho has worked with Luis Figo, Ronaldo, the Brazilian Ronaldo, Romario, Cristiano Ronaldo, Iker Casillas, Sergio Ramos. If Dele Alli thinks coming late, having comments about sponsors and China, if he thinks that's going to fly, yeah, all right. Let's see where that goes. And by the way, I got no problem with character and Mr. Too Cool and Instagram. Cool. Do it. Go ahead. Go ahead. But be willing to deal with the consequences. That's all I say. And by the way, Jack Grealish, Mr. Lad on the boat with alcohol and in the Instagram picture, him and McGinn. By the way, I don't know if I've told people this before on this show. One of my mentors says, you get 3 career limiting moves. In your whole career, she says, you will get 3 career limiting moves. Jack Grealish has already used up all of those. Trust me, if he was anywhere but Aston Villa, he'd be Ravel Morrison by now. They stuck with him. In life, you get 3 career limiting moves. And this woman who I'm talking about, she was one of the first people to bring international content to the African continent. So when I say she knows what she's talking about, there's nothing she hasn't seen. There is the president of the continent she hasn't dealt with. Her words, not mine. I know nothing, but I've heard it from the best. I believe the best business, certainly businesswoman, but one of the greatest business professionals Africa's ever produced. You get 3 career limiting moves. And Jack Grealish is learning now, I used all of them before I was 25. Dele Alli, I mean, how many? Are you kidding me? But so now people are starting to see, it wasn't Pochettino. No, it wasn't Pochettino. Mr. Too Cool, the cool hair, the cool chain. I don't want it. Jack Grealish, the hair, cool. The calves, the low socks. I'm all for it. Go and express yourself. But understand one thing. Leadership is not a popularity contest. And Gareth Southgate and Jose Mourinho are the same guy. They come in a different package. They're the same guy. How much nonsense will they tolerate? A goose egg. Because, listen, production versus tolerance. If Jack Grealish is Leo Messi, no problem. But you know, how much nonsense do you have to put up with Leo Messi? 0. There's 0 problems. Pavel Nedved, how many problems did I have to put up with Pavel Nedved? 0. Henry, 0. 0 problems. Right? Ashley Cole, how many problems did I have to put up with Ashley Cole? 0 problems. None. Never late. I don't want to hear late. I don't want to hear nightclub stories. Don't want to hear it. 0. No. And if I got to put up with any problems, by the way, I'll say it again. Production versus tolerance. And tolerance will never exceed production. Listen, Jack Grealish, you've been good for a season and a half at Aston Villa. That is meaningless. Stop allowing your Twitter, these people on Twitter, to get on your side and tell you you're the next Gaza. You're nowhere near Gaza. Gaza was a generational talent by world standards. Diego Maradona, when Diego Maradona says you're the best I've ever seen, no, there's nobody in England who's ever said that Grealish is better than Paul Ince. Forget it. Listen, give me Paul Ince any day. Paul Merson any day. Nobody in the world thinks Grealish is better than Paul Merson at his peak. And if you think that, you clearly haven't been watching football for long enough. I won't be told different. He's not Ray Parlour. He's not Vieira. He's not Lampard. He's not Gerrard. So you know what happens then when your ability is not that is, you got to bring what I have to tolerate down because your level. Because you know what the problem for Jack Grealish is? You know who Gareth Southgate was the captain of? England. You know who he saw? Frank Lampard, Steven Gerrard, Paul Scholes. So he saw that. He's like, oh, no, that's what great looks like. And you know what? The great thing about sport in particular, I'm not going to speak for any other industry. You can lie to media. You can lie to your fans with PR. You can lie to all of those people. One thing you can't lie to is players. Players know the very first day you walk into a change room, they see you for half an hour. They see your first touch. They see you for a week coming late. They see how you deal with the coach. They see how you deal with being tackled tough on the field. You can't lie to players. Gareth Southgate's the real deal. There's nothing Gareth Southgate has not achieved in football. He's been to the very top of the mountain as far as a British player. Aston Villa, captain. Middlesbrough, captain. England, captain. 5-star character. They love him there. Character will take you places, folks. Gareth Southgate can see what Grealish is. You're not going to lie to Southgate. You can lie to Twitter. You can lie to all your mates and tell them, it's the establishment. Grow up. It's a business. Grow up. Dele Alli, grow up. It's over now for them. I'm sorry, for Alli. Now, listen, you got a problem with Pochettino. That's one thing. Oh, yeah, it was Pochettino. When you got a problem with Mourinho, I'm sorry, he's won too much. Listen, you go and work for a rickety bank, right? And you're like, our computer systems were terrible. And you know what? Our HR was terrible. And our building was always leaking. Okay, fair enough. That's not a great job, so you can't produce the best results. You go and work for HSBC and you're full of excuses, get out. Get out. I don't want to hear it. I do not want to hear it. My point is, for Pochettino, okay, Delhi, maybe it was Pochettino. He doesn't know how to deal with superstars. He doesn't know how to get players at the very top. It doesn't work under Jose Mourinho. That's a you problem. I'm sorry. That's a you problem. That is not a Mourinho problem. That's not the establishment. That's not boohoo me. When you go and start to say things, the lack of self-awareness is killing Dele Alli. It's killed Jack Grealish. I'm out. I'm out. Sorry. As the Canadians say, sworry. Sworry, eh? So, no victims. No victims. Listen, before I go into the last segment, I will take... we got a comment from Ryan Fuller. Ryan says, I just made a mistake and listened to Cyril. Fucking politicians. MK, can you cheer me up and talk about how Liverpool are going to win the league? Ryan, I got bad news for you. Not sure if you saw it this morning. Gomez, long-term injury. Uh-oh. Now you're playing, I don't know, what, a recycling bin at centre-back. What's left? A bare cupboard. Honestly, we may have to dig up my grandmother who's been dead for 15 years, and she may need to go and play centre-back for Liverpool. There is nothing left in the cupboard. That's going to get ugly. Ryan, I don't know how to tell you, brother. I don't know how to tell you. Everybody knows my thoughts on Liverpool this season. I said, when you play for guys like Jurgen Klopp, when you play for Jose Mourinho, when you play for Pep Guardiola, it's three seasons or 2 seasons and you fall off a cliff. Look at the injury list. You cannot maintain what Jurgen Klopp has done for more than 2 seasons. It's insane. That workload. And don't give me excuses, by the way. Jurgen Klopp, I'm out on that. Is it not the same for Chelsea? Is it not the same for Arsenal? Is it not the same for Leicester? Everybody's working under the same conditions. Man United are working under the same conditions. So there's been nothing more despicable than Ollie whinging and Jurgen Klopp whinging, and I heard Kevin De Bruyne whinging about fatigue. It's the same for everyone. But the difference between every other club and Liverpool and Man City over the last 2 seasons, they've been operating at a level which is not sustainable. Difference is Man City have rebooted this season. Liverpool have not. And Klopp doesn't rotate. So these injuries, I said it was coming. I said it was coming. So, man, there is 3 words that I love. Is it 4? Sorry, not a mathematician. I told you so. That's 4. I don't know how to count, but I certainly know how to say, I told you so. So, Ryan, you know what? Misery loves company. Liverpool season's over. What have I been saying? And I received, by the way, Ryan, I got 2 emails from Liverpool fans saying, what's my problem? I clearly have no idea what I'm talking about. And I said, Liverpool do well to make top 4 this season. Not because of talent, but because I've been watching the Premier League for 20 years. 2 seasons, you fall off a cliff. And it's not a talent thing. It's an injury thing. Nobody can last under those demanding conditions. Because sometimes also you must remember, it's not the physical, breakdowns aren't purely physical. It's a psychosomatic thing. Remember, your state of mind can lead to injury as well. And Jurgen Klopp is relentless. Part of his greatness, part of all greatness, is being relentless. But they're human beings. They're human beings. Stats are stats. 2 seasons off a cliff. I'm sorry, Ryan. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to be, oh, man. So you listen to Cyril, huh? Sorry, I've been doing this. Sworry. As my Canadian brethren say, sworry. Ryan Fuller, tough time. Cyril and bad news. Liverpool. By the way, Joey Gomez out probably for the next 2 to 3 months is what I read this morning. Let's see what happens. They said, spoke to a friend of mine who is in the UK. 2 to 3 months. That's not looking good. So, Ryan, if you have a spade, by the way, love my grandmother. We could dig her up, put her bones at centre back because that's what's left for Liverpool. That is what is left for the Reds. It's going to get ugly because who are you playing now? And now, should have kept Lovren. And I don't think a Liverpool fan would have been saying that. Hey, Martin Skrtel played incredibly well against United last week. So, I'm just saying, there's options. Mark Francis saying, yeah, Gomez injured, crap news, but reality is that every team will suffer an injury or 2. We need to see how that will play out. If Liverpool make it through to Jan in reach, we will challenge. Oh, it's going to be tough. Who are you playing centre back now? Matip and... Because Fabinho is injured. And the problem, here's the problem, Mark. Nobody gets fit in the season. Nobody gets fit in the season. Van Dijk's out for the rest of the season. Now, let's see how the Gomez thing goes. Because best case scenario, he comes back when? December. You're going to ask him to recover in a time when they play 4 games in 15 days, give or take, over that period. That is not the time to recover. And by the way, December period, the season is won and lost there generally, especially when it's this tight. But it's a fair point. Can Sadio Mane go Super Saiyan and keep it together? Because if Sadio Mane keeps it together, Liverpool win. If Sadio Mane, by the way, dips 5%, Liverpool are dead. Because he's the last of their genuinely raw world-class guys left. Trent Alexander's gone. That is a huge problem. You know what the problem is with Trent Alexander being gone as well? That affects the dynamic of the front three. Love to hear what people think. Because you know what he gives you? He gives you 2 things. He gives you unbelievable early delivery. So the ball will always beat the man, right? That's the rule in all ball sport if you've played ball sport. That's the same in tennis, table tennis, rugby, cricket, whatever. The ball will always be faster than the man. The greatness of Trent Alexander-Arnold is he will deliver from deep, and not only from deep, but wide. So what he does is he makes Salah's job easy, right? Is because he always makes the fullback choose. Listen, boy, oh boy. If you are the left back for the other team, you got a choice. You have to choose. You tuck inside with Salah and you leave Trent Alexander-Arnold to deliver, because most left backs, even if they get back, Trent can deliver around them. He's got such beautiful David Beckham-like technique. So he stretches the field, which keeps the left back honest, which means Salah most of the time has one-on-one with either the left back or the centre back. Right? So that's 2 things he's doing. He's keeping the wing back honest. So he stretches the pitch formation-wise, which really, it's you leave the fullback on an island. But then what he does for the man at the back post, for Sadio Mane, for Firmino, for Robertson, is that the delivery is so good. Now, if you have James Milner, unfortunately, he doesn't have the athleticism to get up and down. So you saw it against Man City. James Milner is always a step late. And Milner has great delivery, by the way. But he's a step late. Alexander-Arnold was, I'm there on time. Robertson switches early. What does the left back do now? Do I go out? Do I stay with Salah? And with Mane is running, with Firmino is running. That's hard running, by the way. That's a nightmare. So you've lost that element. Van Dijk, you know what you lose there? Is that Robertson can't just be free to bomb on now. Because you know what else you've lost? Is Fabinho. There's no Keita. Where's Keita? He's injured. Oh, tough life. But I told you so as Liverpool fans. I don't want any Liverpool fans going, oh, now he's gloating. I told you, I've been watching the Premier League for 20 years. 2 seasons that are demanding. It's over. And what did I say? And I've had emails. I've had Liverpool fans. I had Mark Francis telling me, oh my goodness, what are you talking about? Liverpool are going to be fine. I've seen this before. It happened to Chelsea. Listen, Jose Mourinho, I lived in London when Jose Mourinho got fired. I was living in Russia at the time, but I was in the UK. You know what happened eventually? Carvalho got injured, Makelele got injured, Essien got injured. It's too much in the 3rd season. Mourinho was fired by January. He had to get Tal Ben-Aim for centre back. For those of you that are old enough to know who that is. He had to go and get Tal Ben-Aim from Bolton to try and fix things in January. By then, it was too late. Abramovich dropped the axe, I think, in February. This Jurgen Klopp thing, the injuries at Liverpool are not sensational. It's what happens after 2 seasons of demanding. I'm sorry, I've told you now. And if you, as Liverpool fans, I don't want to hear it from you now, because I've told you that it was going to happen. And you didn't listen. You got into your fields, as the young kids say. I want to stay young and relevant. You got in your fields. Stop getting in your fields. The stats tell you 2 seasons, you fall off a cliff. This is what happens. I feel terrible for Gomez. He seems like a good kid. Alexander-Arnold, good kid. I feel awful for it. But it happens. This is what happens. This idea that dynasties last forever. Ryan Fuller, Mark Francis, I hate to tell you, they don't. And by the way, Liverpool are not a dynasty, but they've played two great years. 2 great years. Listen, folks, you know what human beings are bad at? We can never just be happy. Like, live in the moment. You won the Champions League and the league for the first time in 30 years. It's been awesome. Don't try to be happier than happy. It's been awesome. Enjoy that. It's over. It is over. Like, if you're a Liverpool fan, I told you at the beginning of the season, and I've received pushback. You told me I was crazy. It's over. It's over now. What, should we go through it? Ryan Fuller, I want to pile on your misery because you enjoyed Cyril Ramaphosa so much. Gomez out, Keita out, Van Dijk out. By the way, your goalkeeper's injury prone. He's going to get injured again. Alisson is now injury prone. Trent Alexander-Arnold out. Fabinho out. What must I tell you? Henderson loves an injury. But you have no one at the back. No Lovren. Matip. Matip spent the last 2 seasons, half of them out. It's demanding. It's demanding. Jurgen Klopp, unforgiving. Sorry. Mark Francis says, hey, don't hate on Cyril, hater. Sweden is looking for immigrants. Hey, Sweden, nice place. Mark Francis says, Keita will be back and he can play in the back, and so can Milner. We got to use what we have. No choice. Fair enough. But I'm afraid sentiment has to go out the window. Listen, I love character, but sometimes you got... Listen, we all work in business. We all work in business. Mark Francis, you work in business. You're in technology. Sometimes you got to have talent. Listen, character gets you to the brink. Talent takes you over the top. I don't think there's a better example than Liverpool with Van Dijk, because they were on the brink, weren't they? With the character and what Klopp had built, and they got Van Dijk. Oh my goodness, different team. They got Van Dijk 12 months later, title, 18 months later, Champions League. Character takes you to the brink. Talent takes you over the top. I'm afraid Liverpool now. Listen, my grandmother, I told you, she's been dead for 20 years. She could do a better job right now at centre-back than what you got. It's a tough time. I tell you what, I'll make a bet with you. I'll buy anybody a coffee. If Liverpool win the league this season, I will admit that Jurgen Klopp, now he joins the echelon of Mourinho and Fergie as the greatest coaches England's ever seen. Because now he has to coach. Fergie's greatness, 2013, might be the greatest league win, perhaps in any league ever. You know why? Because Fergie had to, probably for the first time. All he had was Van Persie. Rooney was dead. Rooney was finished. Vidic was finished. Ferdinand was finished. Evra was finished. All he had was Prime De Gea and Van Persie. The rest was a bag of bones. How do I know that? I saw it 6 months later with David Moyes. Fergie had to coach in 2013 and he took them to the Premier League title. With City hungry, with Chelsea hungry, prime Chelsea team. Chelsea have no excuses from that season. City have no excuses from that season. Fergie delivered us from evil. I'll buy anybody a coffee this season. Everybody's been telling me, oh, Jurgen Klopp's a great coach. It's a dynasty. Here's your time. Now you go earn that bacon, because now it's not about the talent you have on the field. Jurgen Klopp. Claudio Ranieri, what did he do? No talent. Delivered us from evil. Okay, Jurgen Klopp, if you're great, because great must do what good cannot. Right? And there's such a great saying in sport. Right? Greatness is a price that is paid daily. I've already seen Pep Guardiola do it. I've already seen Fergie do it. I've already seen Jose Mourinho do it, because I've seen them coach dynasties at different teams, at different countries, and make history. Jurgen Klopp, here's your chance. Here's your chance to show us that it wasn't about the money spent. It wasn't about Van Dijk. It wasn't about all this dynamic talent. It's about the coach. All right. Dynasty, Liverpool fans say. Jurgen Klopp doesn't get the credit he deserves, you say. All right, here's his chance. I'll buy your coffee. Anybody. By the way, sport@cliffcentral.com. I'll have that bet with anybody. Liverpool do well to make top 4 this season. And if you've been watching the show for the last 3 months, I've been saying it since then. And by the way, I'm happy to load up the show where I said Liverpool don't make the top 4 in my book this season. Not because I don't believe in the coach, not because I don't believe in the talent, because I've seen this happen for 20 years. 2 years off a cliff. Said enough. Mark Francis holding hope. Listen, it's the hope that kills us. It's the hope that kills us. He says, Keita will be back and Keita can play at the back. Mark, Keita's my height, 5'11". No. Come on. Fabinho, a different animal. Fabinho's a different animal. But Keita, listen, the world is as it is, not how we want it to be. Keita's injury prone. It's the book's out now. He's injury prone, and that's a problem because you spent a bucket load on him. That's a real problem. By the way, you've sunk a lot of... That's what you might call in business a sunken cost. The Keita thing is a bust now. He adds... Come on. Emmanuel Mabungu. I hope I'm saying that correctly. Mabungu or Mabungu. But I hope it's Mabungu. Emmanuel saying, we need 5 subs. Fabinho will be back next game after the international break. All right. But I've also seen Fabinho at Monaco. I've seen Fabinho at Liverpool. And we're going to see now because it's back to back to back. We need 5 subs. Fabinho will be back after the international break. All right. Maybe we need 5 subs. Maybe we don't. Listen, as long as the rules are the same for everybody, I don't want to hear excuses. So it's not like Man United and Liverpool are getting 1 sub and everyone else has 3 subs. The rules are the same for everybody, right? It's not unfair when the rules are the same for everybody. Southampton don't have different rules from Liverpool. The Man United don't have different rules from Arsenal. So don't complain. I don't want to hear complaining. The rules are the same for everybody. Is it hard? Is it awful? Yes. Yes, it is. For me, more important, cancel international football. Why are we having it? Rather, by the way, FIFA, you know who the product is? Players. Cancel international football. We don't need it. This week shouldn't be an international break. It should be a week off for players. Players are off. Let's refresh. We want a great product. Because really, you know what FIFA are doing? Short-term thinking. Because, by the way, for those of you that don't remember, you know where Mo Salah is going now in the summer? To the Olympics. Anybody who thinks there's a break coming, Olympics, cancel this charade. Cancel this nonsense. By the way, it's Euros. Don't forget, Euros are coming this season. We just had a little pandemic thing. Olympics, Euros. You know what that means? Is next season again is a 4-week layoff for players. So FIFA, just cancel the internationals. Any teams that haven't qualified for the Euros now, nobody cares. The pandemic's bigger, and football, quite frankly, is bigger than Scotland making the Euros. I don't care if Scotland's not in. Quite frankly, there's 6 teams that can win it. It's a business. Emmanuel, I guess we agree in a sense. Either have 5 subs or cancel international football. That's my thing is cancel international football. I don't know why we still have it. Mark says, I back the youngsters that we have. Reece Williams is class and will need to step up. Tsimikas is close to being back. All right, let's see it. I don't know any. I know I've seen the Williams kid, have not seen Tsimikas. Let's see how that whole thing plays out. Because Sergio Aguero is also coming back. Riyad Mahrez is also coming back. Christian Pulisic is also coming back. Let's see what that looks like. Let's see what that looks like. That's going to be... Whew. Ali Baloyi says, do you think Klopp will be fired if results deteriorate at Liverpool? No, let's not. Listen. By the way, Ali, no. No, this isn't Man United. No, he'll be fine. Listen. Tom Werner, no. I think Jurgen Klopp has signed his own ticket. Guys, he's just won the Champions League. Are people aware that Liverpool are the Champions League champions from 2 seasons back? How short are our memories? He's just made history. They haven't won the league in 30 years. They've never won the Premier League. No. There is no crisis at Liverpool. Jurgen Klopp, this is not a Jurgen Klopp problem. It is not a Jurgen Klopp problem. For anybody who's hearing me say that, no, it is not. It is a stats thing. He's very demanding, heavy metal football. I'm afraid that has its shop window. And by the way, that shop window is 2 years. We've already seen it. Mark Francis says, you're still a bit young, so I'll forgive you today, but I'll take the bet that Liverpool will make top 4. I like my coffee black and not the Frisco crap. Listen, Mark Francis, I'm absolutely insulted. I don't even know what Frisco is. That sounds to me like toilet water. That is not coffee. I presume that sounds like instant coffee. I'm insulted that you would think that I would ever drink toilet water and call it coffee. Liverpool will make top 4, Mark Francis. All right. Folks, there you have it. Mark, it's now on the YouTube. The young kids can see it. This is young kids television. They'll have this forever. Everybody, Mark Francis and I have a coffee. Listen, flat white for me. Thank you. Flat white for me. I don't take any funny milk. I'm not a Cape Town yappy. I'm not a Stockholm yappy, although Stockholm's my favorite city in the world. You know, they got these yappies that love coffee culture. Listen, I like coffee culture. I'm a bit of a yappy, but I'm not full on Cape Town. Flat white for me. Thank you very much. Liverpool not making top 4. It is over now. Let's finish up on this. By the way, to everybody who's joining us, thank you very much. Thank you for the great comments. If you don't mind pushing the like, because that helps us on the algorithm, as the Spanish might say, the algorithm pushes us up the algorithm. before we get into that last topic, Mark Francis says, no problem. Come to Cape Town. I will host you, no problem. Got a lacquer Liverpool jacket for you. Tell you what, I got a dumpster for that as well. I'll bring a lighter. I don't smoke, never have, but happy to bring a lighter to use that on Mark Francis's Liverpool jacket offer. Even in the frozen tundra, I would rather have the seals and the Inuits skin me than wear a Liverpool jacket. Let's move on. Let's finish off on this. So I have a rule in life, right? I have a rule in life and I've stuck to it so far. My rule is I will never, ever, and I've had 2 great girlfriends. I will never, ever, I have a rule, never, ever get back with your ex. And I have friends and people that ask me why. That's crazy. You're ridiculous. You must learn to change your mind. Be open-minded. I say, never, ever get back with your ex. You know why? The reason you left will always exist. And I know everyone's Hollywood and, believe in love and yeah. But real life happens, by the way. There's no Hollywood on a Tuesday when she's sick again and she's feeling sorry for herself and you're fighting with your mother-in-law again. She's late for work and she doesn't want to go. He's drinking with his friends on a Sunday. The reason you break up with your ex will always exist. Never, ever get back with your ex. What is my point? People don't change. People are who they are. Above the age of 18, people don't change. You are who you are. Largely, you can, finesse little idiosyncratic things about yourself here and there. People don't change. You are who you are. When Cristiano Ronaldo left Manchester United, Man United was a supermodel. Cristiano Ronaldo went on to date the new supermodel for another decade. Cristiano Ronaldo coming back to Manchester United now, listen, I don't care how beautiful you are. Giselle Bundchen, 3 kids later, everyone's different. I'm not saying, take from that what you will. I don't care what supermodel you are. 3 kids later, that's what Man United are now. They've had 3 kids. They've had 2 bad boyfriends, 3 bad boyfriends. Treat them like they've treated them. They got lots of baggage now. Cristiano Ronaldo comes back to Man United. He won't recognize it. Never get back with your ex. The reason you left will always exist. It's hard, man. Ask anybody who's ever left an ex. She has kids with somebody else. You try and get back together with her. Ronaldo left Man United when they had Fergie and they were flying. And it was win or bust. Man United for the last 7 seasons, 4 of the last 7 seasons have been Europa League. Cristiano Ronaldo left when Michael Carrick was the engine. Paul Scholes was the engine. Ryan Giggs was the engine. Rio Ferdinand was the engine. Patrice Evra, Edwin van der Sar, Nemanja Matic, Vidic. That was the reality. Gary Neville, prime Gary Neville. Remember that? Carlos Tevez, prime Wayne Rooney. That's when he was there, when Man United was a supermodel. Man United now has gone off, had 4 kids with bums that treated her like a bum. Losers. She's been with losers, and now you got to try to get back with her and deal with the baggage. You saw the article this morning. Ronaldo possibly, he's being sold by Juventus. COVID's been tough on everybody. Serie A is not doing well. Man United getting back with Ronaldo would be a disaster for everybody. Everybody. Because Ronaldo, by the way, he's now walking the park himself now. He's 36, and now he is made. 5-time World Player of the Year. Since he last left you, he won World Player of the Year 4 times. He is one of 2 of the greatest players of his generation. He's not the little boy who left. Hey, listen, you've moved out of home before when you were living with mom and dad, right? Maybe this has or hasn't happened to you, and nobody can cut the umbilical cord, and now your mom's always at the house, and you move in with your girlfriend, and now your mom's always at your house all the time because your parents always see you like you were when you were young. Oh, you're my little boy, you're my little girl. And now you start to tell your parents, no, I'm going on a holiday with my girlfriend, with my boyfriend. How does that work out? Because when Cristiano Ronaldo comes back, I'm not the little boy who left. I'm not only a man, I'm the man. Manchester United now has to deal with Cristiano Ronaldo as a different beast. Never get back together with your ex. The reason you left will always exist. Cristiano Ronaldo was always too big for Man United. Man United are what they are. But Cristiano Ronaldo was Real Madrid or nothing. It'll never be like it was at Real Madrid. Madrid is the apex. Ronaldo is the ultimate apex. Man United now are just, come on. It'll be a disaster for everybody. Don't do it. Listen, if you see your ex-girlfriend and she's looking beautiful at the shop, walk straight by her. You didn't see her. Because the fact that she was partying on a Wednesday night, drinking a bottle of wine with dinner every time you went out, that'll still exist. I know she looks good from afar when she's getting mangoes, but her leaving socks on the floor, the reason you broke up with her, your mother-in-law was a nightmare, that's always going to exist. Don't ever get tempted in your weakest moment to go back. Man United are in a weak moment right now. Look past Cristiano Ronaldo. If you see her shopping in aisle 1, you dash to aisle 6. Like you need ice cream even though you've already got 2 buckets in. Cristiano Ronaldo, Man United. Awful idea. It is an awful idea. Cut it now. I'll cut it now. I mean, I read that article and I thought, oh my God, there couldn't be a worse idea. And I have that rule in my life and I'm not kidding. And I've had 2 stunning girlfriends that a guy like me does not deserve. They were both unbelievable. And I would not, for all the money in the world, get back with them. Not for all the money in the world. The reason you break up with people, even if the breakup is amicable, by the way, there's a reason you broke up and that reason's never going away. I'm not a romantic. Relationships are beautiful things, but they end. All good things come to an end. Ronaldo United would be the worst idea since instant coffee, which Mark Francis loves. All right, listen, that's the show. Let's wrap up with a few comments, and we will be off for today. 21:06. Great show today. By the way, before I go, how about a like? If you don't like it, this show didn't even happen in your mind. Move on. But Mark Francis says, I know why you got a fist to the jaw in boarding school now. Hey, listen, after 18, what you say you are responsible for. If you're going to say anything about anybody, you must be ready for all the consequences. And those farm boys taught me a lesson. If you're going to say something, you better be willing to, you know what? I believe this to this day. Sometimes you need to taste your own blood in your mouth. Just to know that what you say out of there, you better be responsible for. I genuinely believe in that. Guys don't get clapped anymore. Guys don't get clapped anymore. Yeah, guys on Twitter too much. What I say, I've been punched in the face for it. It'll happen. They'll get you. Listen, those farm boys, every yuppie from town like me, every spoiled brat, you need farm boy friends. Because they don't do, let's sit and talk about it. What did you say? Punch to the mouth. All right, I'll see you later. We've sorted it out now. Watch your mouth. Yeah, everyone has to taste their blood once and every now and then, just to taste your blood to know, okay, it's not okay just to say what I think all the time. There's a bit of responsibility. I like it. I like a bit of a sharp end to life. Everyone needs it, especially spoiled brats like me. I'm not saying, hey, who's a spoiled brat? I'm saying I was a spoiled brat, and it served me incredibly well to get punched in the face as a 14, 15, and 16-year-old. That wasn't so nice at the time. Good lesson now. Great lesson now. Mark Francis says, hey, we do agree on something with Mark. He says, totally agree. Never get back with an ex. Just don't do it. Enough said. I think I've said my piece there. Ryan Alex Ferreira says, since you're offering coffee if Liverpool make top 4, what are you willing to bet on Man United making top 4? Ryan, interesting proposition. Let me give it some thought. Listen, by the way, hit me up. MKT. And by the way, listen, I'm a man of honor. My mother comes from a family, the Makalas. And my grandfather always pay your debt. It's my grandfather's rule. My grandfather's rule, my mom always used to get in trouble for 10 cents. If she owed somebody 10 cents. My grandfather, a stickler. Everybody at home used to catch, because in the village, so I come from 2 rural families. In the village, everyone knows what's going on. And my grandfather owned a petrol station. So everybody knew my family. Everybody knew my mom's family. And my mom keeps telling me the beatings she got from granddad. You owed who? You took what from who? And you haven't given it back. You didn't take so for me and my family, MKT inspires. Hit me up, inbox me. If you're a Man United fan, I don't know. Let's work on. So I don't gamble with money, but I'm happy to do coffee because I love coffee. That's my thing. That's my vice. So Ryan Ferreira, hit me up. MKT Inspires on Instagram and Twitter, and let's go back and forth. I'll see what we can do, and we'll work out a few bets. By the way, hopefully we've got a coffee sponsor coming on the show soon. Who knows? Maybe we do, maybe we don't. Maybe we do, maybe we don't. All right. Hey, Mark Francis, I think we should up that coffee. Is a bag of your favorite single origin. I'll get you a bag of your favorite single origin, or you get me a bag of my favorite single origin, and we'll take it from there. Ali Baloy says, why? I presume he's asking about why you should never get back with an ex. Ali, I'm not sure what you're asking there. And his last comment says, he'll be a commercial player. He'll be a commercial player, good for Man United. I presume you're talking about Cristiano Ronaldo there. The commercial value for Cristiano Ronaldo. See, here's the thing. Man United want to operate at the top. Ronaldo is probably third or fourth now. And so here's the thing with the commercial guys. As you're finding out with Paul Pogba, is if my commercial value somewhere and I see myself a certain way, and Man United in a footballing sense don't see me a certain way, at some point there's going to be a collision course. Because really, Man United are keeping Pogba for commercial value. At some point, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is saying, what about the football? Because Cristiano Ronaldo, for all of the commercial value, you know what he's going to say? I want to play. Ronaldo is not going to want to rest. And Ollie's going to see Ronaldo and go, ooh, 36, 37. And you want to play every week. But Ronaldo, I see you not dropping back like you used to when you were 23 and winning World Player of the Year. Listen, your business strategy cannot be divergent. A friend of mine said, Man United are losing because the strategy of the board and the core function of the team are divergent. Business for the board, football for Ollie, that's where the problem is. Ronaldo, yes, he'll be great, but he's no longer Mbappe. It's Neymar and Mbappe's world now. Haaland is the next one, right? Ronaldo's on his way out. I know people don't like to hear it. Commercially, if you're 35, yes. The young kids on Instagram, it's all Neymar. I mean, look at the money. Nobody's chasing Cristiano Ronaldo right now to wrestle him away from Nike. $200 million Puma paid. $200 million for Neymar to make a deal with the devil. They said, Nike, what are you paying? Forget that. Neymar, how do you feel about 200? Listen to that number. Nobody's doing that for Ronaldo. So the commercial value, I think you're thinking of Ronaldo in his peak when we were young. It's a different time now. The 20-year-olds like Haaland, they're like, who can Dougie now? Or listen to me saying Dougie, I'm 100. Listen to me even saying that. We're out of date. It's not for us. It's for Neymar now. It's Mbappe's the new kid. Haaland, I think Haaland's the next one. They're already positioning him. He's the next guy. João Felix, he's the next guy. Right? They're positioning the next one. Pogba's the guy now. Because right now we're in the culture, right? Where there's a bit of the culture. Pogba's the guy right now. Neymar's the guy. They're the apex right now. Ronaldo's probably second or third. Even I was looking at the branding for Portugal. He's not the center anymore. João Felix is at the center now. If you go and look at it. Go and look at La Liga's new advertising. Go and look at even the Serie A's advertising. Ronaldo is he's not the pinup guy anymore. Don't know if you've seen that. Right? They don't have him as the pinup guy. They've got Donnarumma. Right? If you go and look at Serie A, go and look at this. Keep an eye on the Serie A's advertising. It's not Ronaldo. It's not. Even look at Juventus's advertising. Dybala. That's who's at the center. So, but what we can do, by the way, if you didn't see the episode, we have had the leading brand finance company in the world, Declan. The guy's name is Declan. Go and look for the episode with Declan. If you're interested, hit me up, and he'll explain to you how brand value is measured. So every time you see a report in the world, Declan explained it beautifully in that episode. If you'd like that episode, at MKT Inspires, otherwise Cliff Central Sport on all social media, and I'm happy to send you that episode. And Ali, that's a great point. But Declan can maybe unpack how brand value is established and where Cristiano Ronaldo is. Maybe you're right. Maybe Ronaldo would be great for United. You can hear it from the expert. We've had him on the show. Hey, you could have been anywhere with anybody tonight. You've been great. By the way, if you want the podcast version of this, over the next 3 weeks, we will populate the podcast wherever you get your podcasts. The MKT Show will once again be available. We've built up the YouTube offering now. Hit like if you like the show. If you didn't, the show didn't even happen. Ladies and gentlemen, you could have been anywhere with anybody tonight. You chose to be with me, MKT, Gareth Cliff Central Sport, the MKT Show. We are indeed the hell out of here.